Welcome to all my awesome art students out there. Today we're going to do a draw along. For today's draw along, we are going to draw a dog, but not only a regular dog, we're going to draw more of a human looking dog, a dog that stands on two legs. So to get started with that, we're going to draw a upside down triangle shape. I'm going to keep my lines loose. This is going to be kind of like a upside down triangle, but it's going to kind of be going to the side a little bit. So notice how I'm making these lines curve. And that's what's so neat about sketching is we don't have to worry about drawing perfect lines because we are just gently and loosely sketching. So keep those lines nice and loose. If you do really want to erase, you can get your eraser and erase, some of those just to kind of clean things up a little bit, but don't be too serious with your eraser. Don't be so strict. Just keep it loose. Okay, so from there we're going to move on, and I'm going to put in some guidelines. Okay, guidelines are just lines that help guide us. Maybe I'll put one here, and I'll go ahead and put one here as well. And that's just going to help me know where the face is going to go. So then we'll go ahead and let's go ahead and begin to draw the eye. So one eye, we'll just loosely sketch it. Now you need to keep in mind we are loosely sketching in this class, so you need to be relaxed. Have a loose hand, a relaxed hand. Okay, and then we're going to maybe put in some pupils. And put in some eyebrows. Okay, we're just keeping things very simple right now. And we'll go ahead and start to draw the nose. So we'll just draw a line, a real simple line that comes out like that. And see right here, we're going to put kind of the dimple or kind of the smile. I guess it could be either. And then we're going to draw a line here. It's going to come out and then connect. See how that works? You might be noticing my lines are messy. They're loose. But this isn't our final drawing. This is just kind of the beginning. Let's go ahead and draw and shade in the little nose. We want to keep our lines loose, that way we can change them. We don't want anything set in stone right now. This is still the beginning parts of our drawing. So from there, let's go ahead and put in some ears. Actually, let's hold off on the ears for a moment. We'll go ahead and draw the body. So I'm going to draw the neck. I like drawing really thin necks, so it'll start off thick and then go thin, and then kind of come out thick again like that. And then after this point, we'll just go ahead and draw a line that drops down like this. So a simple line that drops down, and another one that drops down as well. This one will drop down just like that. Okay, kind of fun. So actually, let's make those a tad longer. We can change things because we're using pencil. Go ahead and draw a line here, and then we'll draw just two little lines going down like that. So you can see we're starting to draw out his legs. Give him some feet. Keeping our lines nice and loose so we don't stress. If you're stressing right now, you're doing something wrong. Keep it relaxed, okay? So right here, we're going to go ahead and draw a line coming down. See, what we're really doing is just drawing a bunch of lines. Okay, you guys can draw lines. Lines are easy. Don't think of it as, oh, I don't know how to draw an arm. think of it as I'm just drawing a simple line. You guys can draw a simple line. I'm confident that you can. Okay, from there, let's go ahead and begin to add the tail. And then we're going to put the collar. Okay, the collar, we'll just start by drawing a simple line like that. And then a line will be a little bit above it and come around like this. And now I don't like where that original line was. I want the collar to be a little bit bigger, so this is one of those times where I might want to use my eraser to really make it a little bit more accurate. As I'm drawing here, what I notice is this area right here is bigger than this area. So if this area were really behind, it would be a little bit smaller. And this area would be bigger, the front would be bigger. So don't be afraid to change things if they're not accurate or if you don't like the way they look. We sketch in pencil, that way we can change things. Okay, it's not set in stone. Okay, so now I made it the way I want it to be. I'm going to go ahead and work on this line a little bit, just make it a little bit cleaner. From there, we will start to put in the ears. The ears will just have a line coming down here. And we're going to have the ears go, let's see here, maybe I'll come down here. We got to decide how big do we want these ears to be. We'll start with this length. You might need to change it, I don't know. And we'll go ahead and draw a line here and do the same thing. Gonna have this line come out a little bit. And guess what? I'm sketching. And because I'm sketching, I can change it if I don't like it. Isn't that awesome? I had a student ask me once, he said, "Hey Trip, what did people do before there were pencils and people had to sketch and pen?" That was a cool question. So I'm going to go ahead and start to erase those guidelines just so I can get a better look to see what I think about this ear. Now I'm going to rest my eyes. I'm going to turn my eyes away from my drawing tablet or my paper, my digital paper, and I'm going to come back to it. And looking at it now, I can see that it doesn't really match the ear behind it. So I'm going to change up the ear just a little bit. Oops. Use the right eraser, get the right size eraser. Now sometimes for smaller areas, what you're going to probably want to do is use that eraser on the back of your pencil, but it's only for small areas. Keep that one nice and strong for specific purposes. Most of the time you want to use your larger eraser. Okay, from there, let's go ahead and give this dog some clothing. Okay, so maybe here we can kind of just sketch out a straight line. And we'll maybe have the line go right there. Let's see what we think about that. That works. Yeah, and then we'll go ahead and put that, the classical cartoon spot on the dog's belly. There we go. And let's go ahead and give this dog a little bit more design to his sweater. Maybe the sweater will kind of end right there on the arm. Maybe there will be a stripe there, and maybe a stripe here. And let's go ahead and give this dog some toes. Look how easy that is. Just a couple little lines, and the dog gets toes. Super, super easy. And maybe we will draw this little line here. Give them a few little dots. Little whisker dots. And even give them a few little hairs. Like that. Maybe even a few little more. And there's our rough drawing of our human-like dog, or our standing dog. So if I were to quit right here, I really wouldn't be done. Okay, I'm going to go through and I'm going to start to clean up some of those guidelines because we don't really need those anymore. And kind of erase those. And now what I'm going to do is, since I got those erased, I'm going to go through and I'm going to lighten up the whole entire drawing by taking my eraser. And this is where you want to use your kneaded eraser, kind of flatten it out a little bit, and go over all your heavy lines. Just kind of barely drag that eraser over your lines. Notice how I'm saying the word lines a lot. Pretty soon we'll get into shape, the next element of art, but right now we're still just really paying close attention to lines. Now as I do this, I'm going to do it so lightly that you can almost barely see your drawing underneath. Just by barely dragging that eraser over. Okay? So now I'm going to go over these lines, and you can barely see it with a thick pencil. See that? So this might be a good time to switch, put down your mechanical pencil, pick up your wooden pencil, have it dulled down a little bit, and then we'll start to make it a little bit bigger pencil. And this is where we really want to pay close attention to our line work. Now even this part shouldn't be that stressful because we already drew all the lines. All we're doing now is just tracing. You might want to turn your sketchbook a little to help you get the right angles. The best angle that your arm moves at. That might be different for different people. And to make these lines, what you might need to practice is drawing from not the wrist and not even the elbow, but drawing from the shoulder. Oops. I'm going to follow that line correctly. You might have to erase a little bit, but that's okay. Draw on the little toes. And the stripes. Don't want to forget the little hairs. And I'm going to step back here and look at our drawing and think, what else can we add? Well, what we're talking about right now in this class is line width variety, or also known as line weights. And that is when you go over your lines and you thicken some of them up. Not all of them, but some of them, and you think which line should be thicker. Now, to kind of show you here, I'm going to let's see here. We'll make a new layer just so I can kind of demonstrate to all of you. And I'm going to do the thicker line work on this layer just to kind of show you what it's going to look like. So you get to go through here. And what I like to do is just everything that's going to touch the background, kind of make those lines thicker. Now you can just easily make a line thicker just by going over it, because naturally you're not going to go over it perfectly, so it's going to make it thicker. So as you can see, I'm just really focusing on those lines that are going to touch the background. Now, certain curves, you really have to turn your sketchbook to really get them right. But that's okay. Okay, just by doing that right there, you can see a difference, and I'll show you that. So here is our layer without the outline. Actually, I just outlined the ear a little bit right there, but that's without. This is with. So just by going over those simple lines right there, it really makes your character just pop a little bit more. After looking at the line width variety, what we can do is go through and just start to think about what areas can we add a little bit more line weights. And this is a process that might take a little bit more time, but it really does improve the quality of the arts. And maybe these legs right here, I want to make them just a little bit thicker on the outside, not really so much on the inside, but on the outside. Maybe I want to do that with the top of the head as well, so I'll really thicken up some of these lines. Now we're doing this with pencil right now. Eventually we're going to be doing it with pen, especially in October, where we get to participate in the famous Inktober. Okay, next we're going to move on to the shading part of this. So for the shading, you want your pencil to be dull, and we'll just lightly begin to shade. We're not going to be doing any super complicated shading. We'll just shade in the ears, a darker color. Now, as you shade, make sure you don't accidentally scribble. Every once in a while I have a student that gets shading confused with scribbling. Now, there's many different types of shading methods when you want to shade in a large area. What you kind of want to do is make sure you add some variety in how you shade. That way you don't get the heavy line marks in your shader in the shading areas. If you just kind of go one area and then go the next area and go the next area, you start to get those marks. And if you look at your paper and you see marks in your shading, you'll know what I'm talking about. And it's always, something that you have to work with and figure out with your own hands. How long marks can you make? What I say for beginning artists is to make very, very short pencil strokes, because if you make longer ones, you typically don't have the control yet to really do that. I have some students try to go like that, and you don't have the control. Now, I've seen some professional full-time Disney artists shade in an area, and they have so much experience and control where they can actually do that, and they can do it accurately, and it's pretty amazing. But at learning arts and being a beginner at arts, I don't encourage my students to do that. So we got that area. Let's go ahead and do the next ear. You also want to make sure you're not drawing too dark when you're shading in an area. If you need to turn your sketchbook, feel free to do that. Also, don't have your try not to have too many of your lines go the wrong way. Like, once you start a certain direction, try for the most part to keep going in that direction. If you do go over, like I just did, just take your pencil, your eraser, you can lightly erase that. Okay. Oops, fix that. And when you shade for a while, your wooden pencil, you don't want to shade with your mechanical pencil, but your wooden pencil ends up getting like a nice flat edge, or you want to keep that flat edge because it's going to help you be able to cover more space. It's a little bit more challenging for me using a digital pencil here, because you don't have as much control of the weight that you would have in a real pencil. It's like digital has come a long ways, but you still don't have the same control that you have with an actual wooden pencil. It's close, it's nice, but it's still not the same. So after you do shade in an area, go back and try to find some other areas where it's not really balanced and balance it out a little bit. So it's a process. It's not just a few scribbles. And then we'll go ahead and shade in little lines here in the sweater. And then I'm going to step back and look at our character. I'm kind of liking our character. And I'll go ahead and add just a little bit of shadow here. Just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and close all my layers, and then I can readjust it on the screen so that everyone can see it a little bit better. There's our daily drawing right there, our fun little dog, human-like dog, or dog standing on two legs character. So thanks for hanging out today on Tripp's art class, and we'll catch you next time.